When you think about it, they're one of the last true giants of our world, a living, breathing link to a prehistoric past. But the rhinoceros, an animal that stood the test of millions of years, is now facing its single greatest threat. I mean, just try to imagine an animal so ancient, its ancestors were walking the earth at the same time as the earliest primates. They are megafauna. That literally means giant animals. And they're like living relics from an entirely different era, carrying the weight of ages in their very DNA. But, and this is the tough part, this incredible story of survival has reached a really terrifying new chapter. Because today, these armored giants are being pushed right to the very edge of extinction. And the predator responsible? Well, it's us. So, to really understand the crisis, we first have to appreciate the creature. Let's dive in and really meet this magnificent animal. What exactly is a rhinoceros? Sometimes a name tells you everything. The word rhinoceros comes straight from ancient Greek. It's a combination of rhino, which means nose, and keras, for horn. It is quite literally the nose-horned animal. And tragically, that one defining feature is the very thing that now puts it in so much danger. And the scale we're talking about here is just immense. I want you to picture a large SUV in your mind. A fully grown white rhino can weigh up to 2,400 kilograms. That's about 5,300 pounds, which is basically the same as that SUV. These aren't just big animals, they are true megafauna, some of the largest land mammals left on the entire planet. And they have been around for an astonishingly long time. The rhino family tree goes back 50 million years. To put that into perspective, they were here long before woolly mammoths even existed, and they've outlasted countless other species. They are absolute masterpieces of survival. But here's the thing. The rhino isn't just one animal. It's actually a diverse family with 5 distinct members, and each one is uniquely adapted to its own little corner of the world. So let's break down the family. It's split between 2 continents. Over in Africa, we have the white rhino, Ceratotherium simum, with its wide, square lip that's perfect for grazing on grass. And then there's the black rhino, Diceros bicornis, with its pointed prehensile lip for nibbling on leaves and bushes. Then, if we jump over to Asia, there's the Indian rhino, Rhinoceros unicornis, which looks like it's wearing this incredible suit of armor. And finally, you have the 2 rarest of them all, the Javan rhino, Rhinoceros sandaicus, and the smallest and hairiest of the bunch, the Sumatran rhino, Dicerohinus sumatrensis. And when we say endangered, for some of these guys, we are talking about the absolute precipice. There are maybe 275 Sumatran rhinos left in the world. For the Javan rhino, it's down to about 60. Just 60 individuals, all living in a single national park. And the northern white rhino subspecies, well, there are only 2 females left. 2 on the entire planet. So the big question is, why? What on earth is driving this relentless hunt? It all comes down to their horns, and a myth that is persistent, powerful, and completely 100% scientifically baseless. Okay, let's get this one thing crystal clear. A rhino's horn is not some magical bone. It's not even connected to the skull. It is made of keratin. And what is keratin? Well, it's the exact same protein that makes up your hair and your fingernails. I'm not kidding. There is no biological difference at all. So the demand that is driving rhinos to extinction is for a substance that is, for all intents and purposes, the same as ground-up nail clippings. In fact, that comparison is so direct that medical experts have literally said using rhino horn for medicinal purposes is the exact same as grinding up your fingernails and drinking them in a glass of water. There is just no evidence of any health benefits, period. And yet, despite the clear science, the demand has created a poaching crisis of just staggering proportions. And the numbers, well, they tell a truly devastating story. So let's set a baseline. Let's go back to the late 1960s. At that time, there were an estimated 70,000 black rhinos roaming Africa, a healthy, thriving population. Now, fast forward just 2 decades to 1995. After years and years of intense, widespread poaching, that population of 70,000 crashed to just over 2,400. That's a drop of more than 96%. It was an almost complete annihilation of the species in the wild. And the crisis is far from over. This chart here shows the recent poaching surge in South Africa, which is home to the majority of the world's rhinos. In 2010, 333 were poached. By 2015, that number had quadrupled to over 1,300 in a single year. That works out to more than 3 rhinos being killed every single day. But in the face of this onslaught, there is a global battle being waged. Conservationists are using a whole range of innovative and sometimes pretty desperate strategies to protect the rhinos that are left. So on the ground, teams are trying everything they can think of. Some parks practice dehorning. They'll sedate a rhino and safely remove most of its horn, making it a much less valuable target for poachers. Others are doing something pretty wild. They're infusing the horns with a non-lethal substance that makes any human who consumes it really sick. And in the lab, scientists are even developing bio-identical fake horns, hoping they can just flood the black market and crash the price. This has also sparked a really fierce debate. Should the trade in rhino horn just be legalized? On one side, proponents argue that a regulated market could fund conservation efforts and undercut the poachers by meeting demand legally. But on the other side, opponents are terrified it would just legitimize the product, cause demand to explode, and make enforcement nearly impossible. It's a really high-stakes gamble with no clear answer. So, we're left with this. An animal that has weathered ice ages, continental shifts, and countless natural threats for 50 million years. They have survived the entire planet's history. The real question is, will they survive us?